welcome back. We are talking with freelance photographer Olga Hutsul, owner of Olga Hutsul Photography, whose focus includes fashion, portraits, commercial, and events, just to mention a few. With a wide range of creative interests, she continues to capture the essence of each moment. Welcome to the show, Olga.
Thank you, Natasha.
You're very welcome. Everyone has a story to tell, and a great photographer such as yourself tells their story through the eyes of a camera lens. So I'm very, very interested to find out, how does someone, a photographer, stand out in the industry so populated with amazing talent? How do they get the opportunity to show their potential?
That's an interesting question, because you're absolutely right. Now there is a lot of competition in this industry, and we are all trying to be different.
Yes, of course.
But what is different and what makes us all different is the vision, and also a little bit of professionalism and experience built over the years. Mm-hmm. So that is not something that you can just take away.
Exactly, exactly. So how did you kind of establish yourself, having said all that?
You have to be out there, you have to speak to people,
yes.
You have to
network
go
and all of that stuff.
Exactly, you have to see how the models work, mm-hmm. how the designers create, mm-hmm. and how their clothing is shown at the shows as well. That's very important.
Because do they actually take photographers that have kind of like a similar style that they like to showcase, you know, their fashions or their shoot or whatever? Do they kind of pull like that kind of style and like, you know, go to you because they know that the kind of quality that you have is in line with their vision?
Well, vision, again, is the key.
Yeah.
So that is something that creates that unique approach and a unique styling, mm-hmm. that reflects the clothing as well.
Yeah. As a seasoned photographer, what elements do you need to see in order to capture a moment? I've seen you in backstage, on shows and, you know, runways and everything. You're speaking with everybody. You're, you know, very, very, you know, kind and wanting to connect. So how does a seasoned photographer, how do you find those elements?
I try to see what's essential about people, what's essential about shows, about clothing, about the audience. Mm-hmm. That is something that I'm trying to reflect in anything that I do. And I try to be sincere and help out people, because in this industry, everybody needs help.
Of course they do, in every industry. And connections are huge. We all need connections, doesn't matter what industry. So what's the process in making yours?
I try to keep my eye on everything that is happening. Mm-hmm. I read newspapers, I watch the shows, I attend the shows, I try to be out there and see what is happening. Mm-hmm. And a lot of stories that are untold in media that has to be told again in images and has to be recorded, and in social media as well.
So not just taking pictures is, you know, what you're saying. You need to kind of go out there, do the footwork. You need to connect. You need to, you know, be involved. You need to be researched. All these kinds of elements, because people just think, oh, you know, you're a photographer. You just snap pictures. And I'm sure that, of course, that's a part of it, but it's not the only part.
That is actually a very little part, I'd say. Now that you mentioned, that's a little part, because the vision is something that makes it different and approach.
So what does working with local Toronto designers look like?
It's very interesting, it's very intimate. It's something that you see the difference right away. Because when you shoot a little line of clothing for a designer, when it starts selling right away, like you see how much you could do for that person, and that what really matters for me.
To see that you could take them to that next level.
Absolutely.
What about the ones that are just starting, though? I would imagine, you know, putting themselves out there. It takes money. Everything takes money to market themselves. How do you see that end of it? The ones that are just starting out, the local designers.
Again, if you position yourself right in the market, and if the images are right in our day and age, when people do not necessarily go in the stores, but they have to see everything on Instagram, on Facebook, it's very easy to create the image that is right.
Right. Even on a budget or no budget?
Even on the budget.
With hair and makeup team?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, that's really, really good. I think that's a valid point. So, you know, as a business owner, I can totally understand, because I have a very hectic day. What's a day in the life of Olga look like?
It's very busy and it's really very unpredictable. I get to go different places, different locations. I don't know where the day starts or begins or ends.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's the life, right? All the arts and every aspect of, being creative. You have to kind of pursue your dreams. You have to be out there and you have to travel, and you're going to have those long, long hours. What is the best part about being a photographer? I always like to ask people that, what they do. What do you love about it the most?
It's the people.
Yeah.
It's the people, it's the relations that are built when you're working, actually. And there is a lot of people that I have known for years now, and it's interesting to see how they're growing and how everything develops, and it's very interesting that sometimes I do help them to grow.
Yes, I love that. That's so great. So I know that we are in the age of the selfie. So I'm going to ask you, what are the elements? Like, give us some feedback on how we can, take a really nice photo. I love the delete button because I take 50 pictures and I hate them all except for one. So tell me give us some tips. Give us some tips. I think people are going to love this. Give us some. I know lighting. I know you told me that. And know your side. Know your side. Know your angle.
You're absolutely right. The lighting is actually a big thing, and you really have to notice where the light is coming from.
Okay.
So very often you'll see people trying to stand in front of the window and try to take an image, basically facing back to the window.
Oh yeah.
And basically that creates backlight, which is never a good thing if you don't have the right.
So you want to be facing it.
Exactly, and it has
directly.
to be directional.
Natural lighting, or?
Well, usually you've got to do what you've got to do.
You work with what you have.
Exactly, but just notice a light source and just go right to it.
Okay. Do you have to kind of know what side best works for you? Do you do it straight on, angled? What do you do?
That is very interesting because the way we perceive ourselves is very different from what people see in us.
Of course.
So this way, there is no good and bad side for other people. They don't know that.
Right. So it's just kind of individual.
Very often it's our individual projection, which is not noticeable to people. So just be confident and enjoy it.
That's perfect. That's the best thing, confidence. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all these lovely tips about being a photographer.
Thank you.